Hello, everyone. My name is Samaya, and I am here to share the social justice and trauma sensitive teachings portion of this workshop. Before I begin, I'll let you know a little bit more about me. I am a yoga and meditation teacher, doula, Reiki practitioner, and visual artist. My pronouns are she, her, and they, them. So I'm just going to go over the information as I have presented it. Um, it, that's so hard to say. The way it is laid out for you in the slides. So the impacts of race-based trauma. What is race-based trauma? Racial trauma or race-based traumatic stress describes the cumulative impact of racism on an individual's mental and physical health. Race-based traumatic stress is linked to mental and physical health issues. So what is race-based traumatic stress exactly? Like, how can this racial trauma manifest? Racial trauma can come from incidents such as workplace discrimination, police brutality, hate crimes, in addition to the experience of cumulative events such as microaggressions, exposure to racial trauma in the media, so watching viral videos of police brutality and racialized violence. These incidents can also range from being profiled in grocery stores, shopping malls, restaurants, driving while Black, medical racism, any event in which a person's race is a cause for mistreatment and when they're going through the world functioning as a human being and just trying to meet basic needs. So race-based trauma can be linked to the sensations of hypervigilance, anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, and contribute to the development of chronic physical health conditions such as hypertension, which is also known as high blood pressure, and heart disease. So race-based trauma and racism is not just some annoying thing that people of color have to deal with on occasion. This is an ongoing trauma that we have to deal with on a regular basis, and it comes for us at any time. And no matter how good our self-care practices are, this is an ongoing exposure that can help us get out of a state of regulation on top of the other things that happen in life. So going now to the social justice and trauma sensitive teaching slide. In the United States, Black, Indigenous people of color are most impacted by race-based traumatic stress caused by living within a white supremacist power structure. Although Black, Indigenous people of color are regularly exposed to race-based traumatic stress, never assume the status of someone's nervous system and level of trauma based on their race. So for white practitioners, white providers, yes, Black, Indigenous people of color are experiencing higher rates of toxic stress, higher rates of traumatic events, but that's going to affect everyone in a different way. And never assume in a yoga class or another kind of mindfulness or movement class that your Black or brown student is coming in automatically going to be hypervigilant, automatically feeling anxiety because of their race. So this information is here to be a tool to help you be more of a racially equitable, anti-racist provider, but please don't use this information as a way to further damage or stereotype people. So just carefully sifting through this information and looking at some of the links that are going to be provided at the end of the presentation will also help dive deeper into this information, this research. So self-care. Self-care is vital for Black, Indigenous people of color. Self-care is healthcare. Self-care is not a luxury. We are learning that self-care has become a popular catchphrase. People are learning the importance of self-care, which is beautiful. But we're learning that self-care is not time at the spa all the time or nails done. Self-care is tending to your mind, your body, your spirit in multiple ways. And having access to self-care for all people, particularly Black, Indigenous people of color, is very important. So self-care is healthcare. Breathwork, meditation, mindfulness, and movement practices such as yoga and qigong are excellent elements to incorporate into one's self-care practice to help regulate the nervous system and care for the physical body. So ongoing states of hypervigilance or anxiety, constriction of the blood vessels contributing to hypertension, yoga, breath work, meditation, mindfulness, quiet time, adequate rest, healthy diet. These are all parts of a regular self-care practice that we need as Black, Indigenous people of color to exist in a healthy body and navigate through day-to-day living in the United States. So in the resource section, I'm going to include resources that center the experience of Black, Indigenous people of color. So there's going to be some simple tools like a self-care wheel. There will be links to websites and organizations that specifically focus on mental health and therapy for Black people, Indigenous people, people of color. There's going to be links for yoga practices, videos, etc., that are specifically centering people of color. And I think this is very important, especially as a yoga teacher and a yoga practitioner. I have found myself in situations where I'm going to yoga to practice and I'm in a room full of white students and a white teacher. And sometimes that puts me in a state of hypervigilance because I'm being profiled, I'm being looked at, I'm being watched, and I'm there for self-care, I'm there for my practice. So I think that having resources for and by people of color and sharing resources for people of color that are created by people of color are very important to honoring what's happening in our world and creating a safer space for folks who are wanting to expand or deepen their self-care practices. So thank you all for joining me for this portion. And I would like to close out by just connecting with the breath and just taking a moment to get grounded and just absorb the information, notice what has shifted for you during this portion of the workshop. So whenever you're ready, you can come into a comfortable seat. If you're already there, maybe you need to readjust your seat. You can feel comfortable closing your eyes or bringing your eyes to a soft gaze. And find a comfortable space for your hands. Maybe the hands on the lap, palms could be resting on each other, hands on the knees or the thighs. And just take the next couple of moments to connect with the space that you're sitting in. Just feel the contact between your body and the surface below you. And bring your awareness to your spine. Slowly lengthening the spine. Allowing the shoulders to draw down the back, creating lots of space between shoulders and ears. And reaching the crown of the head up towards the sky. And so here, sit for a moment with head aligned over heart, heart aligned over pelvis. And notice the physical sensations in the body. Notice your mood, your thoughts, and your breath. This is a practice of observation, not judgment. And as you're ready, you can deepen your breath, taking some deep breaths in and out of your nose. Imagining on your inhales that you're sending oxygen to every part of your body, feeling the body expand outward. And as you exhale, feel your body just fill with a sense of release and relaxation. And a few more times like this, inhaling to send oxygen to the entire body, expanding outward. And exhaling to release. A couple more breaths here. As you feel ready, if your eyes are closed, you can gently blink open your eyes. And then slowly just take the next couple of moments to come back into your physical form. Maybe you're rolling the shoulders a little bit or moving the arms. Take some time to move head and neck around as well. And just notice as you come back through center, anything that's shifted for you in the physical body, the breath, the mind. And it may be a big shift, a small shift, nothing at all, but over time, these small practices of connecting with the breath and stillness greatly impact the body, the mind, the breath. And you may not feel the effects now, but later on throughout your day, you may feel a shift that slowly or um, largely takes place. Well, I thank you all for joining me for this portion of the workshop. If you have any questions, please feel free to check out those resources at the bottom of the presentation. Thank you so much.